Right, so me and Timmy are just going to give a brief overview of what the Pathfinders got up to this year. So the first camp we had was in March, and you want to share about that, Timmy?
Yes. In March, the Pathfinders went to Victoria for the Victorian Conference Pathfinder Camporee, with the theme being Look Up and Live. During this camp, our club was with Carrum Downs Pathfinder Club, who made our food. They make really good food. The club also provided us with tents as well. Our Pathfinders were able to make new friendships with Pathfinders from their clubs. Throughout the weekend, Pathfinders enjoyed the messages from Pastor Chris Stanley from Loma Linda University Church and World Youth Director Pastor Busi Kamulo, as well as fantastic worship and fun activities, with some of our own Pathfinders helping to run these activities. One of my favourite moments of Camporee was being able to do the colour guide on Saturday evening.
So after we got back from Melbourne, from the Victoria camp, our next camp, we joined Launceston Pathfinders, where we did the fishing honour. So we learned about fly fishing, fishing as a sport, and all that. And then in June, the Pathfinders went to the Pathfinder Fair and Rally, which was in Devonport. And the main theme was keep calm and trust God. With the theme verse being Exodus 14:14, which reads, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." The camp's activities and lessons were creatively designed to reflect this verse, and we used everyday objects to represent different parts of it.
The shed door symbolised the Lord will. The fridge represented fight for you. The speaker stood for you only need to, and the lectern embodied be still. We even came up with actions to go along with each part of the verse. On Saturday, all the Pathfinders participated in a mini PBE, which tested their Bible knowledge. On Sunday, the Pathfinders marched with all the Pathfinders from around the state. The clubs all participated in a drill, but some Pathfinders were confused due to Pastor David's questionable commands. The Pathfinders looked like Wi-Fi signals all over the place. The Pathfinders also completed different challenges throughout the day. This camp was a beautiful reminder of how, even when things do not go exactly as planned, God is still with us, guiding us every step of the way. It was a weekend filled with connection, growth, and plenty of fun.
Other than that, during the year, our club went to Spring Beach about 3 times, and each time we made new memories, chilled at the beach, and just had fun. We also helped do some working bees there, and yeah. Now, for one of the meetings, we had Leslie come from the Northwest to teach about Adja and what she does for Adja. The honor that she was teaching us was Adja Literacy Honor. She talked about Adja's commitment to education and literacy, which is a core part of their mission. The definition of literacy is the ability to listen, read, view, speak, and write, to understand and evaluate meaning. These skills are fundamental to how we interact with the world around us. That's why it's so important, even in our own community. At our last meeting, we learned a surprising fact. We learned that 48% of adult Tasmanians are considered functionally illiterate, meaning they struggle with basic reading and writing skills needed for daily life. This isn't because they aren't smart, it's often due to challenges, like not having access to quality education when they were young or having learning difficulties.
This lack of literacy has a big impact on people's lives. Imagine trying to read a job application, or understanding a doctor's instructions, or even just read a menu at a restaurant. It can be incredibly difficult. It also affects how people manage their finances. For example, a person might struggle to read bills or understand financial documents, making it easy to go into debt. This is why organisations like ADRA are so vital. They also help to bridge this gap.
So, if you guys didn't know, we got the AUC Camporee coming up in 2027. So, our Pathfinder Club, we've been fundraising, doing car washes, boot sales, and yeah, just stuff like that outside Glenorchy Church. We're making a lot of good memories there, and yeah.
The Pathfinder ministry is vital in the Seventh-day Adventist Church because it helps young people grow in faith, character, and service, following the biblical call to train children in the way of the Lord. Scripture reminds us, train up a child in a way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Pathfinders provide opportunities for youth to learn discipline, teamwork, and service, echoing Paul's encouragement to Timothy. Let no one despise your youth, but be an example to the believers in the world, in conduct, in love, in spirit, in faith, in purity. Through camping, honours, and community service, Pathfinders embody Christ's teaching that whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. In this way, the program not only strengthens the spiritual foundation of young people, but also equips them to live out their faith in practical, Christ-centered service.
Camping isn't only about overcoming difficulties. It's also about celebrating the beauty and joy of the landscapes around us and appreciating the things made by God. Likewise, Jesus is with us in our moments of joy and celebration. When we experience the highs of life, whether it's getting a high grade in school, a new job, or a personal achievement, Jesus is there to share in our happiness. On behalf of the Rosny Pathfinders and Adventurers, we'd like to thank Rosny Church for your support throughout 2025. Thank you. Pastor Rick.
It's good today to see all the Pathfinders all dressed up in all their uniforms, getting the highlights of the year, and Adventurers. It's really good to see you guys all dressed up in your uniforms as well. And for those can I just see a show of hands of anyone out here who was a Pathfinder as they were growing up? Put your hand up. Hold it up high. Now, Pathfinders and Adventurers, I want you to look back there and see all those hands up there. They've also been involved in Pathfinders too. And I just want to make special mention before I start talking of the Pathfinder leaders, because anyone who's been a leader of a Pathfinder or Adventurer club knows that it's not a 5-minute job and that it takes a lot of effort. And so I'm looking around at the leaders and I want to thank you, and I know the church does too, and can we give them a round of applause? We have a lot of parents here with us today, and I know that every parent who is in the building today who has children in Adventurers and Pathfinders, from the depths of their heart, wants to give to their children the best they can. And I know that's something that we're all united on, definitely, and it's good that you're here today and you are supporting your young people and what has happened this year in the Pathfinder and Adventurer Club. I also was involved in a Pathfinder hike this year on the Overland Trail with a group of Pathfinders, and that was a great adventure too. And I think we walked, or some of the group walked 70-something kilometres, 77, and there was a few others who walked a bit further, an extra day at the other end. But what a great adventure it was, and a great way to see the outdoors and the things in nature that God has made. Now, I told Nigel I would only talk for 30 minutes. Does that sound all right, Luther? They're hungry, all right. I won't talk for 30 minutes, but I'll talk for a short while. Because I want to, if I was to ask you right now, who is the fastest here in the Pathfinder? So I'm going to ask the boys. Who's the fastest? Oh, there's a few hands going up there. Yeah, everyone kind of knows. Adventurers, who's the fastest? Oh, yeah, a few hands go. People know who the fastest is, don't they? What about who's the smartest? We're at the time of year at school where all the awards are being given out. Oh, there's a few smart people's hands going up there. I won't ask who's got the coolest clothes. Maybe I'll ask who is the best at basketball. Oh, Uriah. See, there's something about we know, and we're always comparing ourselves to others, aren't we? We even do it without even thinking about it sometimes. We're comparing ourselves to others. Do you think adults do it, kids? Adults do it. Do you reckon they compare who can run the fastest? No, they've graduated onto other things like who's got what job, who's got, what car, who lives where, all those sorts of things. But I wonder today if that is the way that Jesus' kingdom works. And I want to share a story with you this morning that Jesus told when he was at a party. Does anyone like parties? Yep, I like parties too. And this morning I'm going to read it to you from the Message Bible. And if you do have a Bible there and you want to follow along, you need to go to the book of Luke chapter 14. So this is a New Testament book, and there's 4 books written about Jesus' life, specifically about Jesus' life: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And this is coming from Luke. And in Luke chapter 14, this is a story that Jesus told. So this is his words. He said, he went on to tell a story to the guests around the table. Noticing how each had tried to elbow into the place of honour, he said, when someone invites you to dinner, don't take the place of honour. Somebody more important than you might have been invited by the host. Then he'll come and call you out in front of everybody. You're in the wrong place. The place of honour belongs to this man. Embarrassed, you'll have to make your way to the very last table, the only place left. When you're invited to dinner, go and sit in the last place. Then when the host comes, he may very well say, friend, come up the front. That will give the dinner guest something to talk about. What I'm saying is, if you're walking around all high and mighty, you're going to end up flat on your face. But if you're content to be simply yourself, you'll become more than yourself. Then he turned to the host and he said, the next time you put on a dinner, don't just invite your friends and family and rich neighbours, the kind of people who will return the favour. Invite some people who never get invited out, the misfits, those from the wrong side of the tracks. You'll be and experience a blessing. They won't be able to return the favour, but the favour will be returned. Oh, how it will be returned at the resurrection of God's people. Did you notice anyone comparing themselves in that little story? You see, in Jesus' time, they had a little bit of a different system than what we have today. They had what they called a patron system. And most people, just about everyone, had patrons. And so what you would do is if you wanted to get somewhere in life, if you wanted to climb the ladder, if you wanted to become a somebody, you had to be connected to the right people. And to be connected to the right people, you had to go to the right dinners and the right parties. You had to go there. And when you got there, depending on how important they thought you were, they would let you sit at the table, and the closer you were to the host of that party, the more important you were. So here at this party that Jesus is at, and he's watching them, and they're talking about it, they're all trying to get up as close as they can to the host, the person who's running the party. They all want to be there. And Jesus said to them, hey, you're only trying to get close there because you want, more status. You want more money. You want more favours. That's the only reason you want to get close to the host. But Jesus says something very radical and very different. He says something very strange. The people listening would have been like, we don't understand this. He said, when you have a party, don't just invite the people who can repay the favours to you. Those who are rich. Jesus said, invite the poor people, those who don't fit in, the ones who have no friends, and the people who can't do anything for you. Invite all of those people as well. And the people listening to Jesus' story would have thought, what a strange story. Who would do that? Jesus' kingdom is different to the world. Because in Jesus' kingdom, you are already counted as important. You don't have to earn some sort of status with Jesus. You are already important, And do you know why? Because Jesus loves you just the way you are. He doesn't expect you to change into something else to gain his favour. Everyone in the whole world is equal in the eyes of Jesus. We don't have to jostle for position. We don't have to get up to the table and try and get as close as we can. We already are right beside Jesus at the table, each one of us. We already have access to what Jesus has on offer, and Jesus offers us something that the world can't offer. Because Jesus lived and died and rose again, we have access to all of the good things of Jesus' kingdom. We don't have to compare because all of Jesus' children are the same. And you know, when we are with Jesus, when we are his friend and knowing that he treats us all equally and the same, it helps us every day to go out and treat others the same way he treats others, to serve others without expecting anything else in return. And today I've brought along something to show you that I hope will illustrate to you some things about Jesus' kingdom. And I'm going to ask Hayden if he can come up here and help me. Can you come and help me, Hayden? Come up here. Can you hold this for me? You can hold it up so people can see it. You might need two hands. Use your big muscles. Yep. Does anyone know what this thing is? Just move it around like this so people can see it. Hold it up nice and high. There we go. Does anyone know what this might be? Peter's called out. Peter reckons it's a jug. Does anyone agree with Peter? Not sure. Alana does. Alana agrees with Peter. Yeah, a few people are saying jug. Anyone else want to guess at anything else? A lamp. That's a good guess, actually, Dwayne. But do you know, the first guess was right. It is actually a jug. Does anyone have a jug like this at home with a big hole in the middle? No, we don't usually make jugs with big holes in the middle, do we? But let me tell you about a few things about this jug. Firstly, we've noticed the hole in the middle. Hold it up nice and high, Hayden. You've noticed the hole in the middle. This jug is different. And it reminds me of Jesus' kingdom. It's different. The values of Jesus' kingdom are different. Jesus' kingdom is built on values like love, kindness, respect, patience. Now, those aren't always valued in our world, are they? That's the first thing. It's different. Jesus' kingdom's different. Second thing, you might notice all these little pictures all over this jug. Do you want to walk along the row here, each side, so people can get a closer look, Hayden? Walk down along the front here on both sides. Yep, that'll do it. Walk around, show the people so they can see it, so they can see the little pictures on there. It's actually a replica of some Hittite artwork. So the Hittites were, around the time of King David, there were Hittites. You might remember one of David's best fighters was a Hittite who David didn't treat particularly well. Walk along the front so the Pathfinders can see it as well, Hayden. See the little pictures? It's quite a beautiful piece of artwork. And what Jesus has done for each one of us is a beautiful thing as well. By dying in our place, the death that we should have died, we now have access to a kingdom that is everlasting. A kingdom that there will be no more death or crying or pain. And that's hard for us to imagine this side of eternity. But the Bible promises that. And we often call this good news story the gospel. And the gospel is a beautiful thing. So what was the first one? It's got a hole in the middle, and it reminds us that Jesus' kingdom's different. It's got beautiful paintings on it to remind us that the gospel is beautiful. The third one, this jug, did you know it's also practical? It's not just to look pretty. This is a small jug. Some of the jugs have the spout about the same height, but they have the base still sitting on the ground, so a great big circle. And they were meant to be used to serve, not just to be seen. And the same is true for us. As disciples of Jesus, we exist to serve others, not just to wear a label of being a Christian. Be used to serve, not just to be seen. Not just to be seen. Okay, and the fourth thing, this is the last one. This jug took the whole person to use. Now, this is a tiny one, but let me give you a demonstration of how this jug was meant to be used. Now, you want to try, Hayden? Okay, put your arm out. Put it up on your shoulder. And then you put your thumb in there, like that. Okay, and I want you to imagine Beck's got a glass over there, and I want you to go pour a drink off your shoulder like that, all right? There we go, like that. So this would have the drink inside it there, and you can imagine, this is a tiny one. You could imagine a really big one. Someone has to come to serve you a drink. They have to come over to where you are. They can't just grab onto it like this. Let me have it again here, Hayden. They can't just sit at the table and just sitting down, just reach across and pour one in when you've got a big one of these. Put it back on for me. You have to use your whole body, and you have to go over to where the person is, and you have to bend down and pour the drink to serve someone else. As Jesus' followers, we have to serve him with everything we are. We can't just make being a Jesus follower a part of what we do. To follow Jesus is not a sometimes thing. It's all of you, all of the time. So let me go over the four things again. Do you remember what they were? What's the first one? There's a hole in the middle. The kingdom's different. It's beautiful, just like the gospel. It's used to serve, not to just be seen. And the jug takes the whole person, and as Jesus followers, it takes our whole life, doesn't it? Whole life. You know, thank you, Hayden. I'll hang on to this here. You can go sit down. If you want to come and have a look later, you can. When we live like a Jesus follower, it means we can let someone else go first. We can help without expecting thanks. We can give compliments to others. And we can admit when we are wrong. And so, Pathfinders, today, I want you to remember this jug. And may you go from here and pour out love, kindness, and help to others as you live as disciples of Jesus' kingdom.